Hey everybody, Dan Holstein here, helping your business take flight. And on this week's interview, I'm really excited because I've got a very special guest coming in from the East Coast. It's Salma Burney from Virtual Go Friday. Salma, welcome. Thanks for coming.
Thank you, Dan. Great to be with you.
Yeah, great to see you. And Salma's got a really interesting story. So I'm not going to say too much about it, but let's just start a little bit first with you, Salma, about who you are, what you do, and who you serve. And then we'll jump into your adventure after that.
All right. I am a virtual assistant and computer instructor. I help busy entrepreneurs, and my tagline is do what you do best, and then you outsource it to a virtual assistant.
Awesome. So you serve busy entrepreneurs. So small business owners, large business owners?
Small and medium. A lot of them are solo entrepreneurs, or I have one or two that run a company and they just need an assistant just for an occasional purposes.
Gotcha. So they can engage with you and stay focused on what's important to them, the areas that they're, really good at, and not a lot of the training and administrative stuff that you're awesome at, but that's sort of a weak spot for them.
That's right.
Awesome. Cool. So gosh, we've known each other, we were just saying like 13 years because we were in the same BNI networking group way back in 2007. And I've referred you to clients in the past, and they've raved about what you've done for them. And so as we've sort of stayed in connection, lost connection, reconnected, I found out that you've gone on a bit of a journey this past year. So tell us a little bit about the whole travel situation that you explored.
Yeah, so what I did starting September of 2019, my husband and I, we took our travel trailer and we did a road trip. We went from Ontario through Quebec up to Labrador, and then from Labrador into Newfoundland and then the eastern provinces. And then from there, it was about Thanksgiving, we went into the US and we went all the way down the eastern seaboard, down towards New Orleans, and then across into Texas, and then up across to just the west side of California, Death Valley, and then back again, back to Hamilton on Family Day.
Wow, that's what, 4 or 5 months? That's quite an adventure, and all over the place.
Yeah, 5 months, yes.
Wow. So now during that time, because you're a virtual assistant, were you able to continue working the whole time?
Yes, actually. Yeah. I worked the whole time, and some of it was kind of interesting. There were times I was teaching computer classes for the government of Canada, and I was either in Texas, New Mexico, and they had no idea where I was phoning in. I even had one client, we were trying to find a new shipper receiver for him. So I was doing phone interviews for jobs on the beach in Texas, and they had no clue that I was calling them there. So that's the joy of the internet. Wherever there was internet or I had my phone and I could hotspot it, I was able to do work. And I just was cognizant that I was in a different time zone, but everyone else was back in the Eastern time zone. So I had to juggle, but it worked fine for everyone else. It was seamless.
That is so cool. So what inspired you to kind of go on a big adventure like that while still maintaining your business? It must have been a bit of a juggling act, but what really got you excited to take off?
It was a year before that. I thought about it. I said, I'm healthy. I'm physically healthy. I'm also financially stable. I'm a virtual assistant. Why don't I just go on the road? Like, there's nothing stopping me from taking this and being mobile and virtual. So I looked into first a car because I needed a certain car to take my trailer. So I found the right car, and I have an Acura MDX, which was perfect. Most people don't think that that kind of SUV would take one. And then I got a Jayco travel trailer and put them together. And I told my clients I started a year in advance, telling them what I was doing and my journey, and they were all for it. Everyone was really supportive and wanted to see my journey. And then I started also putting it on Instagram and putting the journey there. And then before I left too, I said, well, what am I going to do with my house? Because that's a lot of things people don't realize. You go away, your home insurance actually is invalid. So I Airbnb'd my house. So while we were traveling for the 9 months, my house was actually an Airbnb, and I had a property manager who took care of it. So I was making money while we were traveling.
That is awesome. So you outsourced your own home, virtual
Yeah,
outsourcing your home while you virtually, well, literally went on a trip and virtually worked. So that's so cool.
yeah.
So tell me a little bit about I mean, when you're on adventure or holiday mode, there's going to be, I imagine, a time split between doing the fun things and seeing the sights, doing what you want to do, but then work has to happen too. How did you sort of manage that balancing act of being present in the moment and enjoying the adventure and also getting work done?
It's structuring your day and knowing that, okay, in the morning I'm going to do 2 hours of client work, and then, if I'm going to take the next day to do a full day hike, then I'm going to let people know I'm not available, and then I'll get back to you the next day. So my husband would actually schedule what mountains we were climbing or how high we were going to be, because his thing was like, oh, we had to get up to now 11,000 feet above sea level. Like, we're trying to go up and up. So he would schedule those and he let me know, and I'd say, okay, here's my calendar. And I would also schedule time with clients if they needed me. You need to make a phone appointment. Well, here's the times that work for me, and that would work for them. And juggling. And you learn that, during the daytime, if I wanted to go do something, I'll do it, but I work at night because can't see anything after sunset. So I could do a few hours in the evening, which was fine for people because I was still a few hours behind them. So it's still caught up on stuff. So it's juggling your time and also communicating with the person you're traveling with that, hey, by the way, I have this. We're going to have to focus maybe one day, like when I was traveling and I had to teach a class, it was like, hey, I need proper internet. So we would stay at an Airbnb, and I would actually teach at the Airbnb, and my husband would keep himself occupied with other stuff. And then once that was done, then we would spend the day or the evening doing something.
That
So
is
it's called planning.
Yeah, yeah, totally. It sounds like all you had to do was to be organized and a little bit of forethought and plan ahead. And I think a key part of what you mentioned there is communicate. And I find that a lot of business owners that I work with or that I engage, they sort of fear being unavailable. Did you have that challenge where, you had times where you weren't available? Maybe you're up that mountain and you actually couldn't take a call or an email. Did you have any challenges that way in terms of just not being available? Or is that sort of everyone understood that and you could just sort of be present and enjoy being away?
As I communicated to my core clients that, I would be away. There was times, I think there was one where I knew I was going to be gone for 2 or 3 days. I gave them a heads up, and it was put on my out of office reply that I'm away, but I will get back to you when I get back on a such and such a day. So by being communicative and letting some people know that, say I was working on a project for them and I knew the due date, they'd say, hey, just a heads up, I'm going to be away in the Grand Canyon and I'm not going to have any service. I'll get to you when I get back. And they're fine with that because they're aware. They're not waiting for the response. Because I think that's the hardest thing. We wait for the response. We just assume, oh, you can instantaneously reply to me. But, people have lives. They're doing other stuff too. So it's just being patient.
It's a great point. I think people want to know that they've been heard, right? So if you get that autoresponder, they know you've received it, they get an update. So it's not like they're wondering, hey, what's happening, right?
Yeah.
So that's great. So what have been some of your top learnings from your adventure?
Tough. Um,
Or how has it changed? Top learning, how has it changed you or how you approach work or life?
what's changed is I was totally virtual. So the stuff that I used to do for some clients, I used to go in their house and do office organizing. Couldn't do that anymore. So this way I was doing more mobile and helping them learn how to be mobile. Some clients, I would actually meet with them. We would do the PowerPoint at their house. So now it was, okay, we're going to use log me in and I'm going to log into your computer and we're going to do this. So I had one, he was a little afraid, but we practiced ahead of time and he was great with it. And actually, it was a perfect time because a lot of my clients, I was working virtually with them. And then the pandemic happened and they were seamlessly no problem because they've
Yeah.
already been handhold. So it actually helped them and me for transitioning them during this new reality that we have, that they're okay. And then when I moved to New Brunswick, it was okay. So it was just this, seamless thing for them. So it worked out well.
Yeah, it was, the timing was pretty fortuitous there, how you had got back and established. So, and now you're on a hobby farm. I think you said 50 acres out in New Brunswick. And
Yes.
when we were chatting a moment ago, you said you guys are off the grid, which I think is so cool. So maybe just talk to us a little bit about that. What inspired you to, first of all, after your adventure, to move, and then the whole off the grid aspect of things?
Well, the move actually happened while we were on the trip. We were in the middle of Texas, and we were
You
thinking,
virtualized your move? You just delegated someone to move your house? Or?
well, funny enough, we were in Texas, and our question was, well, what are we going to do when we go back? We enjoy this trip, and we're like, we don't want to go back to the rat race, the same old in Southern Ontario, and we would have more stress. We're like, well, we don't want that. So we talked about what we wanted, and we put our options together, a list of what we needed to have. And then my husband did the research, and we found this place in New Brunswick. And it happens also, my husband has 3 sisters that live here in New Brunswick. So that was, there was family here. And we purchased this place while in Texas, unseen. And his sister actually did the house closing for us. So we had this place January 15th, it closed, and we didn't get here till June 3rd.
Wow.
But when we came here, we did want to be more, as they say, off the grid. And off the grid means we provide our own electricity and water. So the water part is a little bit different, but electricity wise, we literally are off of the hydropower. It's way off to the side. We have now 8 solar panels that are connected to the house. And then inside the house, there's a new breaker system with the inverter that converts the DC to AC. And that's how my computer is working right now. The lights are working. Our fridge is working.
Very important to have a fridge working. Yeah.
Yeah. But we were lucky too, because during that transition, we had my travel trailer, which my husband actually had solar panels installed on the trailer. So we were off the grid in the trailer during the time period. So that was a great transition into having a bigger off the grid system.
That's awesome. So with all this virtual life you're living, is this actually you I'm interviewing, or is this somebody else? Is this you?
Yeah, it's me.
Okay. Yeah. So this is so cool what you guys have gone and done. So what advice would you give to other business owners that are thinking, hey, I would love to be able to get away, but they have some fears. They feel like they just can't. Like, what would you say to someone who's thinking about, I would like to go on a several month trip. I would like to get off the grid and, have a hobby farm or live somewhere different, get, to your term, get out of the rat race. What advice would you give to them?
Well, plan, strategize what you're going to do. Also, just do it. A lot of people think, I can't do it. I have to wait till the kids are done, or I'm retired, or this or that. No, just do it. And maybe just do it for a short period of time. Just try it out. You could also, if you're afraid of buying that travel trailer or the RV, there's a company called RVZ, RVEZY, where you can rent a trailer. You can rent that RV and test it out. So test it out, see if you like it, and communicate, and maybe it's also scaling down your business. You're like, I want to retire, but I'm not sure. Well, you know what? I don't like the word retirement. I say it's a new chapter of your life, because your mind is still active. You're not ending your life. You're not dying. So enjoy the next chapter of your life and just think outside the box.
Awesome. Well, that's some great advice. Well, look, Salma, thanks so much for taking the time to chat today. I really appreciate it. And if somebody wants to get a hold of you to engage your services, learn a little bit more about your venture or how you can help business owners, what's the best way for them to connect?
Well, I still have a phone number. So it's 416-278-6500. Or you can reach us. Also, I have my website, girlfry.com, or email is girlfry@gmail.com.
Awesome. Cool. We'll put that in the comments so people can connect with you. Again, awesome to connect. Salma, thank you so much.
Thank you, Dan. It was wonderful to see you.
Awesome. We'll talk to you soon.